From the studios of Chillicothe High School, this is your CAVS News Show.
Hello and welcome back to CAVS News. I'm Christopher Hucks.
And I'm John Barry, here with your first update of the 2014-2015 school year.
As we make our way through October, the season of festivities is approaching. With all the new entertainment, gadgets, and fashion trends that will undoubtedly arrive, it can be hard to keep and stay in the know. To help you keep up with all the latest and greatest, we turn to Logan McCord in our new segment, Culture Shock.
How's it going, guys? This is Logan McCord, welcoming you to a new segment going into a new direction for CAVS News, entertainment news. From movies to music to popular trends, this is Culture Shock. To start off our journey in this segment, let's start in our neck of the woods. The annual homecoming dance at CHS is this weekend. Along with the homecoming dance brings a lot of questions. Who's going with who is wearing what, but the biggest question that I'm hearing right now is what is on the homecoming playlist? There seems to be a lot of controversy going on about what should be on the playlist. Of course, both sides will clash. We ask you, Cavalier Nation, why do people have such a strong opinion on what is played at the dance? This past week, we got up close and personal with some members of the Homecoming Music Committee, as well as some of the people from the student body to get their opinions.
Well, this year we decided to go with the professional DJ. He decides what's on the playlist, he knows what's popular, he knows what kids like, he does these things every weekend. We're going to suggest to him 25 songs that we've asked the student body to suggest to us over the announcements.
We had a suggestion box, so people could give us suggestions either through a Dropbox in Mrs. Coulter's room or by a direct message on Twitter. That was for a sample playlist that we're going to give the DJ, and he will decide pretty much what the other half of all the songs will be.
I actually didn't get to hear about the recommendation box.
I did not participate. I should have, but I did not. I recommend next year, if you did not do it, to do it.
Mainly what I expect to be on the playlist would be just like a bunch of trap and old rap music.
I mean, we've all been to the dances, and it's been a pretty rigidly heavy rap, you know what I mean? This year we were kind of worried about student response to the variety that we're trying to bring. We're kind of trying to cater to everybody's interests rather than just a select group of people.
I definitely think there will be a lot of upbeat songs, but more slow songs this year, and I expect that and I want that.
We're playing what the people want, or what's most popular at least. We're making this for the students. So that's definitely something that we took into consideration, and it's why we're playing the most popular music.
Music just like that we listen to, and just like dancing, it only goes to like so far. When you think of dancing, you think of like, oh yeah, it's going to be pumped music the entire time. Not all people take into consideration that pump music could be like rock or just like dubstep and stuff like that.
People have a strong emotional attachment to school dances, and it's pretty much the main point of going to a dance, is to dance to music.
People would want to go more if their opinion was valid.
I think people have such a strong opinion when it gets played at the dance because they want to hear what they want, and if they don't hear what they want, then they're going to be mad at the playlist regardless. So I think people just need to have an open mind to the music and just enjoy the music and have a good time.
Jasmine, what are your top picks for this week's box office?
Well, I know Gone Girl with Rosamund Pike and Ben Affleck is coming out this weekend. So is The Equalizer with Denzel Washington. The Judge with Robert Duvall and Robert Downey Jr. is also coming out.
Oh, now that's the one that I'm really excited for. You see, those two actors, they're so good, and they finally get to do a movie together.
Me too. My top pick this week is Gone Girl. I really like the story. It's about this woman who randomly disappears one day, and her husband goes on a quest to find her because everyone's accusing him of killing her. So he goes to clear his name, and he can't seem to find her. But I'm not going to spoil the movie, but what happens is very exciting.
So it's a missing person story that turns into a murder mystery, in a way.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, one thing that I know that we need to talk about, which we didn't get to talk about last week, it was a pretty big movie last week, is Annabelle. And you said you went and saw it.
Yeah. Here are my thoughts about Annabelle. I feel like this movie wasn't that great. It was a basic scary movie. It was about a family who recently had a child and gets this extremely creepy doll to put in their daughter's room. Everyone in the audience is stunned because who would put this big scary porcelain doll right above their baby's cradle? There are a few scary scenes, but nothing really occurred until late into the movie. The best scenes were all the same ones from the trailers, but they did not build up enough suspense to make it scary, and the music didn't help either. It was a spin-off of The Conjuring, so it wasn't that good because Conjuring was such a great movie. So rating it, 10 being the best and 1 being the worst, I'd give it a 6. If you're easily frightened, you may have found this somewhat amusing, but if you're anything like me and love the thrill of being terrified, don't set your expectations too high.
Don't forget to like the Cavs News on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Cavs News. Become a part of the Cavalier Nation. Our Twitter and Facebook question of the week is, what box office movies are you most excited to see this fall season? Next time we air Culture Shock, we will read your answers on the air. Keep them clean, folks. That's all for this week. Back to the guys in the studio.
Thanks, Logan. The fall sports season is in full swing here at CHS. The Cavaliers have put strong teams together in multiple sports this year and are taking the role of the powerhouse in their second season in the SCOL. For more on our athletic teams, we return to sports with Myra Perkins.
Thanks, John. Hi, I'm Myra Perkins here with your CAVS News Sports Update. The football team won 55-0 at Hillsborough on the 26th of September with outstanding performances by Quentin Davidson, Steve Bayless, and Caleb Price. Last week, our very own Cavalier football team went head-to-head with the Tigers of Greenfield McLean. The score was 35-0 with great performances by Devin Zahner, Austin Mathis, and Caleb Price. The cross-country team traveled to Piketon on the 27th of September and had excellent performances by Donovan Lowe, Quentin Boggs, Jack Whalen, Andrea Dennis, Shania Conley, and Darius Harris. All of us here at the CHS studio wish all our athletic teams competing good luck and hope that all teams stay safe and show good sportsmanship on the courts and fields of competition. I'm Myra Perkins. Now back to Chris and John in the studio.
Thanks, Myra. Another perk of the fall sports season is homecoming. From the week loaded with school spirit to the intense game on Friday night to the memorable dance on Saturday, homecoming week is a highlight of many students' high school experience. To tell you more about the tradition of homecoming, we turn to Anthony Polikowski with Did You Know?
Thanks, Chris. I'm Anthony Polikowski, and I'll be bringing you some facts about school dances in honor of this week's homecoming event. Did you know the NCAA credits the University of Missouri with the first homecoming event? In 1911, Mizzou's athletic director, Chester Brewer, invited alumni to come home for the annual game against the University of Kansas. The event drew over 10,000 alumni and fans for a weekend of speeches, rallies, dances, and a parade, with the big game as the weekend's center point. Even though the NCAA credits the University of Missouri with the first homecoming event, the University of Illinois claims to have the longest-running homecoming tradition. Starting in 1910 and only skipping 1 year, in 1918 when the influenza epidemic kept people from gathering in large numbers. The homecoming court has its origins in the 1930s. The homecoming queen was originally chosen based on the composite of her float and the person herself. Later, queens and kings were nominated and ultimately chosen based on their qualities as an individual. Spirit days, or dress-up days, are most popular during high school homecoming week. Different themes designated throughout the week invite students to dress in costumes or school colors to show their school spirit. Common themes include Toga Day, Geek Week, and School Spirit Day. Mum's the word, whereas mums stand for chrysanthemums, the fall flower largely associated with homecoming. The exchanging of mums is evolved in the southwestern U.S. into corsages exchanged by high school students. As long as 3 feet and weighing up to 12 pounds, mums are elaborately decorated with chrysanthemum blossoms, ribbons, bells, and trinkets, denoting name, class, and special interests. That's all for this week. I'm Anthony Polikowski. Now back to John in the studio.
Thanks, Anthony. The homecoming dance is sure to draw a big crowd, and that's part of the reason students dress so classy for the event. We all take pride in looking our best for the dance, and sometimes that means going the extra mile to make sure your outfit is perfect. To help you put the finishing touch on your attire, we go to Brooke Smith with this week's Do-It-Yourself project.
I'm Elise Jones.
And I'm Brooke Smith, here with your first DIY on CAVS News.
Do-It-Yourself will broadcast once every month to give us plenty of time to prepare the best DIY projects for you.
For our first DIY, we're going to show you how to make a corsage in honor of homecoming here at CHS.
Corsages can be used for dances, weddings, or any kind of formal party.
The materials needed to make a corsage is a real or artificial flower,
a second flower, baby breath, or some kind of feather, or small diamonds,
floral tape,
a wristband,
a hot glue gun,
and a pair of scissors.
The items we are using today were all purchased here at our local Hobby Lobby. An artificial flower for $4.99, diamonds for $2.99, floral tape for $1.99, and a pearl wristband for $5.99. All these items add up to about $15.
To start the corsage, take the flower you decided on and take your second item. We are going to use small diamonds. If you choose to go with the diamonds, take the bottom wires and spread them apart like so. After splitting the wires, take your flower and place the second object either behind the flower or like the flower we are using. Split between the top of the flower and the leaves. Once you figure out the flower you are using, either behind or in the middle, take the diamonds or second object you decide on, and either take the bottom and place it by the stem, or like the diamonds we are using, split the wires evenly on both sides, then place it down the middle of the flower. With the diamonds we decided to go with, you will then take the wires and wrap them around the stem of the flower. Once you wrap the wires around the stem of the flower, then take your floral tape and wrap it around the stem and wires until you can't see through the tape anymore. Next, you will take the wristband of your choice. Any wristband you choose will have a metal plate and some ribbons included. The wristband you choose has both. First, take the ribbon and tie it in a double knot against the plate, and as tight as you can. Once you have the ribbon tied together, then cut off the extra pieces.
Get your hot glue gun and make sure the glue is hot and ready to apply to the plate.
And lift the plate off of the band and make sure it is lined evenly. Then take the glue and put 2 dots of glue on each side of the plate. When the glue is dried, you will then take your flower and slide the stem under the ribbon and take it as far down as it will go. If your flower goes beyond the metal plate, then cut off the extra part of the stem. Once your flower is placed under the wristband, then take the metal pieces on the side of the plate and fold the top piece over the top of the flower. And the bottom pieces around the bottom of the stem. Here's your finished project, and it looks beautiful. Thank you for watching our DIY.
Remember, our segment will air at least once a month, so don't forget to tune in.
I'm Elise Jones.
And I'm Brooke Smith. Thank you for watching. And also a big thank you to Julie's Downtown for donating for our background. Now back to John and Chris in the studio.
Thanks, Brooke. We're coming close to that time of year when Christmas lists begin to form. For many parents, this means a list of video games a mile long, and the majority of parents don't have a clue about what they're buying in the first place. Fret no longer, as CAVS News Gaming is here to inform you of what you need to know before buying that hot new title. To tell you more, we turn to Glenn Mitchell and Patrick Holmes.
Welcome to the first episode of CNG, CAVS News Gaming. We're your hosts. I'm Glenn Mitchell.
And I'm William Holmes. CNG is a new segment about video game news for those interested in video games and may be looking for a few. For our first show, we're going to start by going through a short list of video games that are coming out in a few months. Then, we are going to finish up with an in-depth look at Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, based on J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth saga.
The first game we are going to be looking at today is Dragon Age Inquisition, the newest addition to the Dragon Age series.
Dragon Age Inquisition is the third installment in the Dragon Age series, which began with Dragon Age Origins in 2009. Dragon Age Inquisition takes place during the events of the second game, which sparked an all-out war between the Mages and the Templar, who were a group dedicated to keeping the Mages from becoming too powerful. The main character is an agent of the Inquisition sent out to return order throughout the land.
Supposedly, Dragon Age Inquisition is going to be more challenging than its previous installments and include a co-op multiplayer. Dragon Age Inquisition will be released November 18th for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PC.
Next up is Lords of the Fallen, an original game developed by Deck 13 Interactive.
Lords of the Fallen takes place in a medieval fantasy world. You play as Harkin, a criminal that has gained a chance at redemption when an ancient evil awakens and sends an army of demons to destroy mankind.
This game has a combat system that allows the ability to switch styles whenever the situation calls for it. One style may be good for a short period of time till you find an obstacle that requires you to switch. Lords of the Fallen will be released on October 28th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Following Lords of the Fallen is Civilization Beyond Earth. Civilization Beyond Earth is the latest installment in the long-running Civilization franchise that began when the first game was released in September of 1991.
Civilization Beyond Earth is a new science fiction themed strategy game taking place on an alien planet. In the game, you choose a sponsor for your expedition, as well as the various traits for your colonists when they arrive to the new world. Beyond Earth will be released on October 24th for PC.
That's all we have in terms for preview this week, but we'll have more video game previews on our next show. Now let's have a look at a recently released game and highly anticipated. Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor is a game based on the Tolkien lore of Middle-earth and The Lord of the Rings and was released on September 30th for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and PC. PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions will be releasing November 18th.
Shadow of Mordor takes place between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. You play as Talion, a ranger of Gondor who was stationed on the Black Gates.
Not to reveal too many spoilers, but Sauron has returned to Mordor and his captors have killed everyone on the Black Gates, including Talion and his family. Talion is brought back to life from a mysterious wraith and is banished from death. From there, he sets out to discover who the wraith is and to seek revenge against those who have wronged him.
Shadow of Mordor features an innovative new system known as the Nemesis system that creates a unique experience with every enemy. It helps give Orc society an artificial intelligence and allows every fight the ability to alter the hierarchy of the Orc army. Each has their own personality, and each one remembers every encounter they have with you.
That's all we have for CNG this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
That's all for this week. I'm Christopher Hucks.
And I'm John Barry. Have a great weekend, Chillicothe.